So let's then talk about the fourth quarter numbers with the management. We have with us Ashok Kumar Pradhan, the MD and CEO of United Bank of India. Mr. Pradhan, thank you for joining in on ET Now. Congratulations for coming back to black this quarter. What are the key drivers that led the bank to profitability?
Thanks for your congratulations. In fact, after a lot of struggle of 7 consecutive quarters of loss, we have been able to come to black just about 95 crore, a small profit. But yes, we have put enormous efforts behind it. 2-3 things has happened in between. One, we have tried to streamline the administrative structure. That has been, we have reduced the operational costs on administrative offices, removed some of the administrative offices which are found redundant. In fact, we have closed 4 different administrative offices in different pockets. That has brought down cost. And the most important fact is our recovery efforts. We have entire team was working in the Q4 for recovery efforts. And particularly on the return of assets, our efforts has given us tremendous boost. Like we could recover about 346 crores as against about 107 crores last year. And on interest expenses, we have been able to save about 4%, while our interest income has increased by about 6%. So, 2-3 things, these factors combined have given us this booster of profit.
At the Q4 asset quality, absolute gross NPAs have come down 18% QOQ. How has the trend been in the quarter gone by with respect to slippages, recoveries and write-off this quarter, which is Q4 versus Q3?
The important fact is that the corporate NPAs, there is no occasion anymore. Whatever recognition part was, the recognition part is over now. So we have been able to contain our retail side. Retail side is hardly 40-50 crores per month. So in the current financial year also, I do not see any other corporates hitting unless and until NBFC turns ugly. The news what are coming about NBFCs, that is bit scary. Even though our exposure on NBFC is substantially low, nevertheless, it will have some cascading effects, so we're concerned about that. Coming back to the point like recovery, we have recovered in cash about 2,400 crores during this financial year, which was just about 1,200 crores previous year. So this is one very strong positive because the entire bank was virtually working on recovery mode in the last quarter. And as far as big NPAs are concerned, we have already, as I told, we have recognized those NPAs, so I don't see any big threat from that. Even in ILFS, we have made NPAs wherever they have become NPAs, so and we have also provided for. So going by this, whatever has happened, that has gone past us, and I see a profit which will be sustaining on quarter basis henceforth. So there won't be any apprehension on that.
Okay, so for the benefit of our viewers, could you just share some numbers like what will be your stressed assets, including ILNFS and the ADAG group, and what kind of provisions are likely for stressed assets in the next year, that's FY20?
Let me put the figures straight. We had about 16,552 crores of gross NPA at the beginning of the financial year. We have been able to reduce it by 4,700 crores. That means it stands about 12,052 crores. So it works out about 16.48%. That was 24.14% at the beginning of the year. In terms of NNPA, we have been able to reduce the NNPA to about 8.76%. Which was about 16-17% at the beginning of the year. So these are the numbers. So if I look at ADAG exposure, there are 2 exposures on ADAG, Reliance Naval and Arkham. So you know what is happening in that. So the exposure, we have made them NPA, so that won't be affecting us this financial year. And if you look at the future projections, particularly in terms of PCR, my PCR today stands about 73%. On NCLT cases, we have made almost 100% provision. It is about 90% plus. So I don't see anything hitting us in case NCLT resolutions do happen, and we do recover and on an average about 30% plus. So there will be a right back. So that will be substantially helping us in improving our bottom line. Specifically, if you ask about ILFS, my exposure is about 1,099 crores. About 800 crores of accounts have already become NPA and provided for. So 300 crores of accounts, the three accounts, they are standard assets and they are servicing their obligations in time. So if I go by the chairman's statement, Mr. Uday Kotak's statement, these are the accounts I don't see any threat during the current financial year because they have enough cash flow to service those obligations. And if I look out my future outlook for this current financial year, I don't see any big corporates hitting the bank this financial year, and we have been able to contain substantially our retail NPA accretion. So in that case, I should be able to bring down my gross NPA percentage by the end of the financial year to around 7 to 8% and NNPA around 4%. So this is the likely scenario on which you are working.
Okay, very quickly, if you could tell us about the kind of slippages and recovery run rate that you're expecting for the new fiscal.
Last year, my slippage was about 5.51%. There are very many corporate accounts. The slippages was to the tune of 2,500, 2,600 crores. But in the current financial year, I don't see that kind of slippages because in retail, it should be about 500 to 600 crores maximum, and in corporate, maybe 500 to 600 crores. So around 12 to 1,300 crores. So that will work out to around 3% of the standard assets which will be slipping. And as far as recovery is concerned, I am expecting about 4,000 to 5,000 crores of recovery during this financial year from the retail and both from NCL to window. So this is how the numbers should be panning out for the bank at the end of the financial year, FY20.
Okay. Now, your NII has improved. So how have the margins been in the fourth quarter, and is there scope to improve margins in FY20?
Net interest income, in fact, we have been able to deploy funds to a large extent in the last 2 quarters. So my average advance level has gone up by about 3,000 crores. So that has given us a substantial increase in interest earning in the last quarter. And we have been able to improve our NIM to about 2.43% at the end of the Q4. I'm looking at a NIM of about 2.75. And that will be possible because all my stressed assets are going out of the books. And the assets which are...
Okay, thank you, Mr. Pradhan, for helping us understand all the details of what transpired in Q4 of FY19.